Michael. He's just, no one said anything. They're muted.
Thank you very much. All right. Let me just see. Hold on. Okay, before we begin, I'd just like to let everyone know that we are recording this, and if anything is needed to be forwarded in the future, just be careful. All right, it's all yours.
I would start probably with introducing because I see a few new faces here. So my name is Lavita Divilova. I'm the chair of Transportationn Committee.
I'm Angela Kravchenko. I'm vice chair of Transportationn Committee.
Feelings and just a board meeting. And you, and also a Transportationn Committee member. Right.
Granite board, construction manager.
Great, I know. I spoke to your company a couple of times. Okay.
Hi, and I'm Katie McDougall. I'm a community construction liaison to the overcrowding of Kings Highway project.
And you're forwarding with the Drummond, are you?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
Anthony Drummond, Assistant Director of Government Communications at New York City Transit.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
And everybody.
And we have also last one, Charlene.
So, part of the agenda would be going over the legislation that is being introduced. Do we have the person who will
Yes.
he'll be online?
He's online right now, and I'm going to make you a co-host. All right, William, you can present your information.
Yeah, I mean, there's most of the information is, I don't have a fancy presentation. Most of the information I sent along and is in the legislation. Basically, why I'm here is we're trying to get Intro 606 passed, Priscilla's Law, which would mandate license plates smaller than what we imagine, more like what you see on a moped, on e-bikes, e-scooters, things like that. Electric vehicles that people ride on the streets. We're not talking about wheelchairs or other mobility scooters, I guess be the word for it. One of the reasons why we're coming to, I work for Robert Holden up in Queens. So one of the reasons why we're coming down to Brooklyn is right now we have enough support from enough council members. We have 27. We really need 26. So it's good. That's good for us. But we find that the speaker is not so receptive of the bill for a variety of reasons. She just is not personally her kind of jam. But what we really hope to do is get enough letters from enough community boards around the city and show it to the speaker and her team and say, look, this is a popular bill among people. And we have seen in conversations with community boards from the Bronx, Manhattan, especially in Queens, and now in Brooklyn. Well, this is actually my first one in Brooklyn. What's that we've seen that people are very supportive of this bill. I feel like I'm more here to answer any questions you guys may have about the bill. Just to get a couple out of the way, like I said, wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, no license plates on those things. New York City would be the first city in the country to do something like this. So, leading the way. And then often what's asked about is why the state isn't doing this. People usually say that the DMV hand out license plates like this. And, we agree, right? We think the state should have been done this, a couple years ago. We think the state should be doing this right now. The state has not. Some pieces of legislation have been introduced. They've gone nowhere. And, the council member, he really thinks that just time for somebody to do something. You know, people get hurt, people get killed, and it's just dangerous. But the although New York City would be the first city in the United States to do this, it's pretty common law in Europe. So there's that. Yeah. So any other questions, I'd be happy to answer to the best of my knowledge and my ability. I apologize. I don't know if I fully introduced myself. I'm actually Councilmember Holden's legislative director. So you can call me Will Williams. A little too formal for my taste. So yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah, I have a few questions, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I was
Of
looking
course.
and I was reading through the information that you provided, and I didn't see the answers to questions that I had in my mind. I'm gonna just tell you, and you answer to the, I don't know, maybe it's too technical, but just the questions come to mind. What are the rules for cars versus e-bikes? What are the specifics? Like sanctions, I mean. Will the offenses affect driver license points if you're riding the car versus riding the e-bike? Will e-bike require no fault insurance, for instance? Or what are the parking rules violations? What are the ducks for registration? What points, is there any points required to register? Will be required any license for purchasing? Let's say when you buy a car, you have to first, you have to have a license to buy. So will be any requirements for license for purchasing? Will they require any annual technical inspections to hold the license plate? Is there any annual registration that will be required? How would you dispose of the e-bike and the license plate? Usually when you dispose of the car, you give up the license plate. What's gonna happen here is you wanna change the bike. Sanctions if you ride without license plate. Sanctions if you're riding without liability insurance, if any insurance required. And actually, the very interesting question, what are you gonna affix it? Because, the bikes are folding.
Yeah, it's
Instead of like removable and put it back in, or it's affixed, so you could see. So that was the questions I have in mind. If you don't have any answers now, I could just send it to you and you could answer it during the general meeting. So I understand you're gonna be doing presentation during the annual general meeting, right?
Yeah, so my hope is to be in person for your general meeting. I'll have to make a schlep down from Astoria all the way down to you guys, but I look forward to it in some ways. To answer a couple of your questions, just off the top of my head, right now it's the language of the bill has it as affixed onto the rear, and that can mean a lot of things. With legislation in general, with things like this, we like to leave it broad for the Department of Transportation to make their interpretations on their rules. We really didn't want to really put in a lot of details where in a way it's kind of trusted to the experts to figure out exactly what the rules were to do with like sort of things like surrendering the license plate when you dispose of the e-bike, things like that. More broad though, we did not want to require licenses beyond what's already required with delivery drivers. They're required to have licenses in different ways, and these tickets wouldn't count to your if you have a driver's license and or whatever other vehicle license, and you get a ticket on your e-bike. It wouldn't really count as not really. It wouldn't count as points towards your regular license. It would just be a fine dictated by Department of Transportation sent to you. Things like parking, it's there's what we've really identified is there's a lot of rules around e-bikes, speed limits, where you can leave it, where you can park it, how much wattage is your battery, things like that. There's a lot of rules. Really hard for these rules to enforce these rules. And what we really want to do is not add a lot more rules. We just wanted to add the one more rule, license plate, to enforce all the other rules. So it's, no introduction of liability insurance, no introduction of license plates. If those are popular things, we can obviously explore it. maybe not so much in this bill, but in separate bills. Yeah, it's a lot of it is just we want people to follow the rules that have been put in place that they're not following, and that's what we've seen is these rules aren't getting followed. They're not respecting rules of the traffic rules, speed limits, modifications to their e-bikes, things like that. They become a lot easier with license plates. Yeah, I hope I will, if you send me the whole list, because a lot of questions, I was trying to write down a few. I will answer all of them, in detail and as best as I can.
Milagros have a question.
Are these licenses gonna be free or they have to pay for it?
So that's up to Department of Transportation to decide. Councilmember Holden has been pushing to make them free. It's just we don't want to add another another barrier for people. If the financial study says it's going to be if we don't make them free, they anticipate making $2 million off them per year. We do make them free, obviously we don't make that money, so that's but it's up to Department of Transportation to decide how much they would cost. I think they don't want to say how much it would cost because I don't think they know really how much it would cost for them to be making these license plates. And I know that's another common question. We asked Department of Transportation that, they said they don't really know yet. So if they would do it, they don't really know how much it would cost to make these plates. Yeah.
Okay, we have
Angela?
Angela, good.
I see like 12-year-old on the bikes, so I'm all in favor. I think there should be some laws about it. But my question is, when you introduce this idea, what is the major objection? What people say, why not doing it?
Right. So the major objections we've been getting is, well, number one, no one likes more rules. And usually people that break rules don't like more rules. But really the main one we get is people see this as a way for the police just to antagonize another group of people, e-bikers, the police stopping you just to, check out your bike, let's grab this guy, and it's, for us, it's a hard question to to speak against, right? It's that you start asking questions a lot about how the NYPD operates in New York City and things like that. Really, what we don't anticipate the NYPD being on the forefront of handing out these tickets, of stopping people, because they think they've broken some sort of modification law to their bike, right? So there's things like that. It's really what we anticipate is catching these people, Department of Transportation catching them on cameras. Now, just because we anticipate it doesn't mean that it'll be true. But it's, the most common barrier we face is people being worried about this just being another excuse for the NYPD to be antagonistic and to stop people. That's more of a question for the NYPD, I think, personally. But that's, I think, the barriers of New York City politics. Yeah. I hope I answered that question well, but that's the most common barrier we face. And the second most common barrier we face, I guess, is the price tag, right? DOT doesn't make license plates right now. They don't hand out license plates. It hasn't historically been their job. Now we've asked DOT about this. They say it's possible. They say they could do it. They haven't given us a price tag. The anticipated price tag is $7 million in the first year. This is from the mayor's office. And then $4 million every year after that. But if they charge, it would be $2 million less. And then, to throw a lot of numbers at you guys, if I remember correctly, the council anticipated $7 million in the first year, $1 million every year after that. So I'm not really sure why they ended up at two vastly different numbers. That's bureaucrats, I guess, you know. Yeah.
Have another question coming? I just wanted to say something because it seems sort of crazy that they're asking them to have license plates. When you have a regular car, you have to register your car every so often.
Yeah.
You have to have insurance and stuff on your, because just like with a car can kill someone, so can these bikes.
Exactly.
And it has to be some type of way that you can identify the person that's on that bike. And it has to be some type of way where if they do kill somebody with their bicycle, that they're held accountable and the police can, ask them, where's your license, your registration, your insurance card? And it's not fair to those who drive cars for them to be able to get, plates, but then you can't, they're not paying no insurance, they're not paying no registration or anything. It's like, one of the judges at the court told my daughter when she had gotten a ticket. It is a privilege to drive. It's not your right to drive. So that should be the same way that they do this. If you're gonna have them have plates on their car, then that plate need to be able to identify who they are. They need to carry insurance just like anybody else.
Right. That's what I was thinking when I was writing the questions, because, it's a license, so it requires a lot of responsibility
And
and also
it shouldn't be
enforcement.
free. They don't give cars license plates for free. It's a privilege to be able to drive.
And who will be enforcing all that?
Exactly. If the police can't enforce it because they feel that way, a lot of people feel that way when it comes to cars, and you have these young guys that's driving these fancy cars, and cops pull them over and go, license and registration. Because maybe they feel that, maybe the car's not theirs, maybe the car is stolen or whatever. You have to present that. So it shouldn't be any different for these people that are on these scooters and stuff. They pull them over, show your license, your registration, and your insurance, just like anybody else. You're on the road, you can potentially kill somebody, and somebody can potentially kill you. It works both ways.
It says that e-bikes constitute death by 14 and more than 11 people. So, they
It's a
have
lot.
like,
There was a very interesting statistics that you provided, but
Okay, we have someone on the screen, Mark.
Hi, my question is one of who's going to enforce
Yeah.
doing this? To just say, well, the police have to enforce it without it in a budget line for
Yeah.
whatever the police department thinks might be added to their fees, or is there going to be a new DOT license plate police? Because right now, I don't think DOT enforces, other than, a paper comes and you get a ticket because you cut the curb wrong or something like that. So you get an oath ticket to handle. So my question is, who's going to actually enforce doing this? Thank you.
Yeah, so obviously, there's a level of enforcement that the NYPD already has with e-bikes, and we just see some growth in that. The big one is, and this is, personally, I think the most important is in those hit and runs, in those moments where no one was there to see what happened, but something happened, except maybe the victim or a bystander. The speed cameras that New York City has, much to many people's chagrin, everywhere, and red light cameras, things like that, they will now be able to pick up these e-bikes, right? So the tickets will technically come from DOT because they're the issuers of the license plates, but there's going to be no, DOT license plate police. These license plates will just be, cameras are going to be able to attack at these license plates the way they can do with mopeds or motorcycles or with cars or trucks, and that I think is great, because sadly, I've heard a lot of stories from a lot of people say they got hit by an e-bike. The idiot drove right off, and they went to the police, and the police said, "There's nothing we can do." And they said, "Well, there was a camera right there," and the police said, "Oh, it's just some e-bike and some guy. What are we going to do about it?" So we're very excited excited is not the right word, I guess, but we really think the cameras are going to be the biggest enforcer, although the NYPD will certainly be involved.
Okay, next we have is Michael Russo.
1 second. Question I have, if these things get the licenses, will they be part of the congestion pricing? Who's gonna be
No.
paying for that?
Yeah, we don't anticipate them to be part of congestion price. They won't be part of congestion pricing. That's, specifically for cars. Yes, they won't be a part of congestion pricing.
They charge you if you have a motorcycle, if you have a moped and there's a license on it. That's part of it. And then, the biggest thing is, you're gonna plate the vehicle. Is it gonna be registered? Even though they're putting a plate on it, where are they gonna be registered to? Most, from what I've seen, and this is just me watching, I see all these scooters, all these e-bikes in front of the migrant hotels, in front of these transient hotels, where people who are working and they don't, they don't have a permanent address. So how is it like? It's going to be just a number on the back of a thing, on the back of the scooter. There's a lot more involved than just putting a plate on the back of a car saying this is, even with the food delivery, it has to have the name of the place on it. That's what I seen in Manhattan. The name of the restaurant with the e-bike or the food delivery service. So that's the only things I say. I wish it's not that easy. I'm more afraid of these e-bikes than anything else. They don't stop. They don't go. All these food delivery drivers, they just go through and they're out. They want to cut each other off because they have to make that dollar. And if they put this thing in the middle, it's going to be worse because they're going to be driving worse. That's the way I say it. Thank you.
Yeah, to address that question a little bit, we agree with you completely about the one of the biggest problems with e-bikes is the delivery drivers, because the apps have made them so competitive against each other, and because they are so desperate to make that extra dollar. What we see is there's 100% going to be, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be issues with this. And if we do end up finding issues with this, the delivery drivers that don't have permanent addresses, it's impossible to track them down. They can rack up 1,000 tickets and it doesn't matter to them. If we end up running into these issues, we can certainly fix it with legislation. We're just tired of nothing happening with these e-bikes. No one is trying to make them accountable. No one is trying to make them really be considered what they are, which is they're not bicycles. We all grew up with bicycles. We all know how fast bicycles can go. They are much more like mopeds. They're much more like motorcycles than they are bicycles. And they're significantly heavier than bicycles. We do anticipate this being a first step, not a final step. So we definitely think when the imperfections come, we'll be ready to fix them, and we'll be ready to address them.
Okay, the last question is from Jeff Sano.
Yeah, hi, how you doing today? I have two questions. Number one, is there going to be a carve out for City Bike? And have you gotten any pushback from them on this here issue? And also, when somebody is issued a license, it's usually, you have a name and address, but there could be several different people operating the vehicle. How would you differentiate that? If they got a ticket, is just a ticket on the license plate holder, and not the person who is doing the driving on it. So it seems a little complicated to me with that.
Yeah, for the first question, City Bikes, other mass, those limes, other mass scooters and bicycles, they won't be exempted. We get the biggest pushback from those people because they really don't want to pay for it. They keep anticipating that's going to cost them a lot of money, even though, you know, we've told them it may not cost you anything at all, but they push back really, really, really hard. They're upset by it. You know, it's infringement on their billion-dollar, you know, industry, I guess. So, you know, they're actually our biggest barrier in many ways. And then for your second question, we want it's one e-bike per person, one license plate, right? If you are giving it to your friends, it's if you're sharing it with between 50 delivery drivers, that's your fault. It's your e-bike, you're accountable for it, you're accountable for how fast, how big that battery is, you're accountable for its that it follows the rules of the road, and that the rider you trust is going to follow the rules of the road, right? If you're giving it to a friend and he blows through a red light if he hits a person, that license plate is going back to you, and that e-bike is owned by you. There's definitely some legal issues with that. I 100% anticipate, we all 100% anticipate that, but we don't really see it as any other way in that sense, because if we started to get licenses with e-bikes, it gets kind of complicated, although there is some popularity with it in our position. New York City has protections against requiring licenses for bicycles. And e-bikes are in this quasi middle ground where they're not a moped, they're not a motorcycle, they're not a car, and they're not a bicycle. So yeah, that it gets complicated. But yes, there would, you know, to answer your question better about the sharing of it, it all goes back to one person, whoever that license plate's registered to. Which
Okay, that's where I see the problem. Because somebody
Okay.
could get in trouble and who owns the license and they're not driving the vehicle. So, you know, that's one problem I think the city council has to work out with this. Thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions
No,
in regards to this?
that's it.
That's it? Very
That's-
good.
All right.
Could we move on to the?
No, so what's gonna happen here, since we didn't have quorum tonight, we're gonna bring this under new business on the general board meeting. We'll vote on this, at that time, will be there to answer any question or further answer the questions that were presented tonight. And then they can make a recommendation to send a support letter for this bill, okay? Thank you, Will.
all right, thank you so much for having me. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank
Okay.
you for the presentation.
All right, next.
So we'll move on to the Commodore.
Yes, I'm gonna pull up the share, let's see where we have share. All right, download. All right, hold on. Let's see, no. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna pull this up and. Oh, great. I don't think it's gonna pull me up. Let me pull this up because I don't have the key for this. So Katie, it's not gonna let me pull up. Okay. Well, let's see, I don't use. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Okay, it's all yours, Katie.
We can't hear Katie.
You gotta get closer. You gotta get closer. Thanks, Mike.
Or talk a little louder.
No, it's not gonna work that way.
How is it?
It's good, guys.
We
Can you
hear
hear?
you, Eddie.
Oh,
Maybe.
someone give us a thumb up.
Well, she's got to say something first, yes?
saying something.
Maybe I.
Okay, now we,
I can hear her.
Okay, thank you. All right, good. It's all yours, Katie.
You can notify me if you can't hear, and I'll speak louder or we'll make some adjustments. So my name is Katie McDougall. I'm the Community Construction Liaison for the overcoating of Kings Highway project. Now this project is repairing the viaduct that carries the F line between Kings Highway down to West 8th Street. And this is really important because the F line is one of the longest subway lines in all of New York, and it carries over 500,000 riders every single day. This project deals with about 2.1 miles of that line between Kings Highway and McDonald Avenue, Shell Road, and West 6th, taking us all the way down to West 8th Street. So this basically, we're going to deal with we've been dealing with structural repairs, blasting and painting, dealing with repairing some of the columns and making sure that we're bringing this viaduct to a state of good repair so that it can continue to serve New Yorkers for years to come. So the biggest thing I wanted to focus on tonight is the construction update about the ongoing work on West 6th Street, particularly that detour between Shore Parkway and Neptune Avenue. So right now we're detouring people between Neptune and Shore Parkway. So basically you turn left on Neptune and take Shell Road up to rejoin West 6th at Shore Parkway. This is necessary so that we can complete the blasting and painting without any delays or too much impact on like neighboring businesses and the community. And we use a rapid deployment truck as well. And in the presentation, we have plenty of beautiful photos that I'll kind of talk through, and you can imagine. So right now, you see that there's kind of a barrier for the detour and a sign that's please access only. We've worked closely with the NYPD and NYC DOT to make sure that this detour is efficient and contained. When we're preparing for blasting, we basically install plywood and tarp around to keep everything, all of the debris contained. We use a blasting machine, and we have noise and air quality monitors at every single site. So we're able to kind of see how the project is progressing and address any kind of issues or concerns as they come up. We'll also be blasting and repainting 3 key intersections: Neptune Avenue and West 6th Street, Sheepshead Bay and West 6th Street, and Shell Road and Shore Parkway. And again, this will be using a rapid deployment vehicle so that everything is contained and able to be completed efficiently with minimal disruption. And again, this work on West 6th Street, we anticipate being done by the end of April. And then the construction look ahead will be progressing further south on West 6th Street, between Sheepshead Bay Road and the West 8th Street New York Aquarium subway station. We'll be using, in much as we've been doing in the past, construction equipment and staging areas. We'll be mobilized to facilitate that overcoating and structural repair work. We'll use air quality monitors and noise monitors for the duration of the work. We have contacts with all of the residential buildings and the major businesses that will be impacted by this, and we'll use flyers to safely facilitate the flow of traffic near the work zone as well. And the biggest thing right now is minimizing street level impacts. So again, we've been working closely with local businesses to mitigate impacts, making sure that we're maintaining deliveries and essential services, and posting signage around barricades and the work site, informing pedestrians where they can go with any questions. We also have, I think in the last slide of the presentation, we'll have the project email and the hotline. So you can reach out with any questions at kingshighwayovercoating@gmail.com, or the project hotline, which I answer, day or night, rain or shine, at 347-579-0765. Again,
No, hold on.
347-579-0765.
Because I was trying to reach Commodore before and I would bounce around a lot.
Bounce around a lot.
Oh, yes.
Where do you live?
I live in Brightwater Towers.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
That's by Neptune Station.
No, that's by West Side City.
Okay, okay. That's Ford Trump.
No, that is the
Oh,
Transport and Brightwater Towers, when both that.
That was our gate if you will.
Yeah,
Mm.
yes, and I was trying to reach you many times, but on the west side,
Oh,
yeah.
we
Residential gate, that's the access.
Well, we only primarily block that gate on.
Let's not think about that. For now, with the pillars that MTA kindly installed, so we're done with that topic, we're gonna move on to the next issue.
But I love to answer questions. I
Yes,
love
thank you.
some of the work that we were doing further north last spring, being able to talk to local businesses and communities about kind of the project getting signs made, which has been I love to answer questions, happy to field any kind of complaint and find or kudos and hopefully find a resolution.
Since you pretty much know, how long, so you said that the phase that is covering up to Neptune Avenue to Shukespeare Bay Road would be it like from now to April, right? So it's pretty much like 1.5 months in duration, that phase?
The current work that we're doing on West Sixth Street between Shore Parkway and Neptune Avenue will be done by the end of April 2025. And then after that, we'll move down to.
And it's gonna be like a couple of months too, or less than that?
Well, one of the challenges we have is the new construction between.
You mean
She
Trump?
had the new.
Then the
construction.
Reebok building,
Yes,
Reebok building,
yeah. Yes, yeah. Right, that's correct.
Yeah, the Reebok building.
Right, there, you can't occupy that space because they already have a permit for that location. And their permit is going on until the end of the year, 2025. So we are working something out now with the transit. Maneuver how we're gonna get to that location when they locate. Because right now they're waiting to come in. Out the building. Until they have the generator that occupies the whole curb line.
So when you enclose it, like, you know, the trains, the air trains, they will not be passing that station, they will be stopped. So how the people will, that's what I'm trying, how would it affect the trains, the commute? How will it affect the commute?
Can you show graphic?
Let me see. I'm gonna try. Hold on. No, I'm gonna try this. Oh, okay. All right.
Okay, understood.
All right.
you go to the
We're doing some steel repairs on the track level, but that's under the GO, the general outage. Alright, but the painting work is everything below track.
Oh,
And it's on the F line, right? So Q line is not.
No, just our contract in the state, West State Station.
But are you going to close this passage for pedestrians under the truck? So while you're blasting, people will be looking and they going.
No, we have to continue to.
Because you want to blast in the whole pan, right? Because I understand that's the process. You take over the whole pan, which has a leak.
Here, this guy.
I
Alright,
I think.
alright, I'm gonna share it now. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna share the, hold on. Share this. Okay. Wait, let me see. Do they, can you guys see it on Zoom? They should be able to. Okay, what page?
Yes, we can see it.
There you go.
And the disposal containers right there, you can see that people are able to come and go, well, all of the debris and glass is being contained, and if you go
Sorry,
down to slide 6, that'll show
Come
Sorry,
on.
guys, it's not you. Yeah, I know. They're gonna all look at me and say, what? Okay, there it goes. 2, 6. Which one? This one? No. This one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Not the boring green.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
So,
Okay. So it's all enclosed and no dust will go outside of that covering. Okay. Yeah, it's important. Yeah. Okay.
what is your noise level?
Mm.
Because it's a lot of residential building, especially on the second phase. What is your noise level? Allowed.
We are not, over. We allow,
What is allowed?
that's why.
That's what I asked.
Can't give you the decibel. I can't give you the decibel.
What is allowed? Okay.
I can't give you the decibel, but one of the reasons why we don't do work at night because it's quiet and you can hear it. And then you also have the blasting is muted by the trainers.
All trains will mute.
Okay, the next person is Michael Russo.
What about the section that goes over the Belt Parkway? And then when you return on Shell Road? How's that gonna be addressed?
Underneath the Belt Parkway.
Over the Belt Parkway. And then that's where right now it's closed from Neptune to Shell Road. How is that gonna be addressed?
Yeah, right there. Okay.
Good picture. When is the time frame for that getting done? Or is that gonna be a typical DOT thing? They're gonna do a survey in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the night, so we don't know anything that's going on.
Eddie, may I say something?
Okay.
We have some here.
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay, go ahead, Michael, real quick.
Okay. Oh, I live there. By where the Little League field used to be is just about completed.
Yeah.
The gird is, if you look at the last picture there on Shell Road and Shell Parkway, don't touch the Bell Parkway. So if you see where the arrow is now, Eddie.
Yep.
The green there is off the Bell Parkway coming down by my power plant going to West 5th Street. Okay, that's the area they're working on right now, so they're not touching the car. You know, it won't have anything to do with the cars because they don't have those steel girders there. So right now, it's quite loud. You can't walk on the sidewalk because they have the coverings coming down from, underneath tracks and so on to the ground. Between the blasting and the vacuuming, it sounds like, of the paint chips and so on, it's quite loud, but it has not affected any of the traffic on the Bell Parkway.
Okay.
I'm talking about the part when they have to paint it. When they have to paint over the Bell Parkway. And then
the only thing over the Bell Parkway is the actual tracks. They're not painting the tracks. Look at that last picture.
But they're doing the support of it, the support of the tracks.
It's on either side of the belt, Michael.
I know, I understand that, Mike. I understand that, but still. All right. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Mike, do you have any questions? Silverman.
No, I'm living through it now.
Okay.
That street's been West 6th Street there by the police station across the street. has, been closed.
Yes.
They don't work in the evening. They've done it all the way up and down the F train line. Further down by Avenue X, it created problems because of all those body shops there and so on. But it needed to be done. It looks a hell of a lot nicer when they're finished, that's for sure. Guys are doing a great job.
Okay. Okay, Angela? Yeah.
Ability to view it, so it's all good. It's only chips. Something else, no damage to the battlefield, because with these.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
As you see the title of the contract, overcoat painting and structural repair. So we do steel repair required. Yeah.
It's just the part when you're gonna go, when before, aside from Michael's building, it's more like a space of commercial area. But the curve that we're gonna go into will be very close coming between two heavily populated residential buildings. So we would appreciate if extra care will be applied, because I know you're gonna receive a lot of calls in our people's there. Because we were subjected to that. Right now, they're changing trucks a third time, and there's a lot of craziness going on, and they're gonna. Next week, they're gonna continue, or a couple of weeks down, they're gonna continue traffic lighting. And then you guys are coming in, and that's gonna be during summer. If you finish in April, right? So you're gonna start that in May, or you're gonna be waiting until, they're about clear street? When are you gonna start the second phase, the one coming through the
South of Neptune.
Quarter, so. Somewhere in the second quarter, we are looking to get there.
Second quarter.
Second quarter, what do you mean? Oh, so you mean like it's gonna be done somewhere between May to June?
Yeah,
June.
we're trying to get out before the.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I was referring to, yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You have to skip that, that's what Letty said, you have to skip the block, finish everything else, and then come again.
That's so,
Okay.
so you go into location between Camp 4 and Brightwaters, because we have the long, this long curve, you're gonna come to it sometime between May and June, right? Oh, at least it's planning.
So the quick question there is, you're going to be blocking the entranceway to DMV, or there's access to it? Okay.
If you guys can help us facilitate the contract.
Oh, and MTA. Yeah, this way. Yeah, this is the one that they're looking at. Yeah. Oh, yes. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then.
On there. Yeah, we just doing, look, as you see, we're below track. Everything that will make it aesthetically pleasing to you.
And access to the station also will not be affected on the West Sixth Street?
You mean?
The back entrance, the back entrance will not be affected?
We can't block that,
So we open.
we still maintain. It might be, again, we have to corral.
Yeah,
pedestrians,
understood.
But, it cannot be blocked.
And also walkway from West Sixth to West 5, because a lot of people walking that way from the train station. That will be open,
That
right?
will be, but we end right at that
At the entrance, okay. And you're not taking that part where it goes to, along the police precinct?
Yeah,
You're taking the curve? To the next
When it turns, when it
entrance.
turns.
When it turns to the next entrance from the Surf Avenue, that's where you stop, right?
How far do you go into Surf Avenue? Okay.
There's not two entrances. You stop at the back entrance of West Sixth. You're not going to the entrance to Surf Avenue.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I guess.
That's a different contract.
All of the access,
Okay.
you know, for pedestrians and those with disabilities will maintain access that way. So there won't be any inhibitors in terms of blocking way access for pedestrians to enter.
We would appreciate if also, if any like information in regards to this project will be sent to Transport and to Brightwater. So the management is knowing, and if there's any questions, they could just blast the email or whatever to people. So that
And our that we government,
Mhm.
we always happy to do that, but we make sure that we notify the community board first because we know that they are the
Yes.
hyper local to one and then disseminate that information to everyone within the community.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
To get not only lotteries, but
Senior assistant manager for Transportationn.
and
And right, keeping so.
You have the quarter hours cake signal too, right?
Yeah.
I will. Or you can.
Okay, so other than that, yeah, let's see.
We can talk about it, but that's gonna be another part.
So any questions in regards to this, any further questions in regards to this project, so we could let people go?
no question about it, because, well, I do live by the last stop on the one, because, like, I'm glad that they're making the elevator on 242nd Street, the corner part, which is the last stop on the one, which is in the Bronx, that's where I live. So I don't know the question about you, how you did how is the when's the elevator is gonna get done? I don't know when.
That is probably a question to.
Yeah, that's the MTA. That's the MTA.
Cause I live at the last stop on.
I can take that back to representative there, so the elevator 242nd Street, then Cortlandt Park.
Yes.
That's what, okay. Okay, let me take that back to, I don't.
Brooklyn. Okay.
We're
That's
pretty
it.
much
That's it.
done
That's it.
with.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for answering and being patient.
Oh, wait, there's somebody raising a hand? Sean? Did you want to
Yes,
say something?
hello. Yeah, I have a question that is related to Coney Island in general and bus routes. So
Oh, okay, all right, that's the next part. That's the next part of the
oh,
agenda. Okay,
okay,
so,
sorry.
all right,
I was jumping the
Brandon
gun.
and Katie, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I know, I have the PowerPoint. I converted everything. You got it.
Any questions?
Oh, wait. Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay, I have everything. I'll send it to the people.
Thank you so much.
Michael.
I'm sorry, Chair. Chair, if I
Michael,
could
what's
just
your
have a
Michael?
couple of minutes to clarify a couple of things, please.
Isaac?
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes. Hi. I'm with the New York City Department of Transportation. I just wanted to clarify a couple of things. Is my voice intelligible? It was very poor.
Yes, we did.
Good, good. Okay. So let's start off with the question that had been asked earlier about the painting north of Shell, that intersection that's a very complicated one, and the section of the viaduct that crosses over the Belt Parkway. So both those areas will also need to be painted. It's a different problem in each area. One is where the structure exists over the Belt Parkway, and that will be done with highway permits only for select periods of time, so that it'll take a little longer than it would the other sections, as basically they'll set down tarps and then close it. So it'll be mobile equipment, fast deployment, okay, rapid deployment. Now, when you go on the other side of that image that we see, Shell and the shore near the plant, that's a very complex. That will also be done under rapid deployment. So it's very different than what you've seen further up on the Culver line for the north. So that's number one I wanted to clarify. Number two is that the stretch south of Neptune basically has two very distinct areas. One is immediately from Sheep's Head to Neptune, which is where the new building is going up, right? And then the other one is the one that we see now on the screen. So the one, it was explained earlier, near the building that's going up, it's going to have to be done incrementally so that the building can continue construction. And that just means it's going to take a little longer. The one that we see in front of us is a little more complex. From the point of view of traffic, it's not going to be an issue because it's going to be possible to divide the whole stretch of West 6th that we see in the photograph into two, the northern section and then the southern section. So traffic will flow and there'll be access to the lots at one point or another in one direction or another. The problem is it's the pedestrians. The pedestrians are really going to be blocked off from using this section of West 6th Street, unfortunately. But we're still working.
Completely, right?
Yes.
Completely? There will not be
yes.
passage between West 6th entrance to subway towards the Neptune Avenue? Between from the new building to the entrance to the West 8th station, right?
That is not going to be a problem. It's just a stretch south, the one that we're seeing in the image of
Right.
Sheep's Head Bay. Yeah.
Okay.
So north, yes, there won't be an issue. Once you get there to where the buildings are being constructed, no problem. So just wanted to point that out, that we're trying as best as possible, but I think that we can't restrict the contractor from doing the work. So we're obviously going to make it as possible, but it may not be that we can provide that pedestrian passageway. The last thing I wanted to mention is the concern about the noise. The noise is very, very real. And there is a simple way to attend to this problem. You call 311 and you register information on when this noise is taking place, and New York City DEP, Department of Environmental Protection, will monitor the noise. Okay? So it's not to say that just because it's loud, it's above and beyond the threshold that's legally permissible. This is very, very industrialized equipment. It's just impossible for the vacuuming and the grit and the blasting to take place without noise. But there is a legal limit. So to the degree that New York City DEP through 311 attends to this, and they will come out to the site, they could actually shut the job down. It's not that they'll shut it down indefinitely, forever, but they'll say, Commodore, you must rework it in such a way that the noise levels are reduced. So there's a venue, it's a way of basically dealing with the problem in a very nice way. Filing with 311 online or over the phone and they will move on that. So I hope that that's a little helpful.
What is the legal limit that you actually mentioned? So if it's the people that you know. What's the
The
EPA?
The decibel levels depend on the time of day. So in other words, so a contractor can ask and request and secure permits to do construction at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be a little more than drinking coffee, you know, but it won't be as high as it is the 85 decibels during the day. But they will provide all this
85.
information. Yeah. So that's FYI.
And the works will be conducted between 8 and 5, or what is during weekdays, is that correct?
Yeah, we did.
8 to
No,
5?
7 days a week we work.
Oh, so Saturday, Sunday included, and it's gonna be 8 to 5, or what's it that timing?
7 to 3.
In the spring and summer months, we go sunrise and stuff.
So
Generally do it.
Saturday and Sunday morning, the sun is rising and you start work.
Yeah, but we're considerate of the fact that it's quiet and, you know, we try to pick the poison, whether we spray paint or we blast. Blasting is louder. But also, just to add, we have what they call sound blankets that we put around our blasting equipment to meet the, well, it don't quite, it mutes it a bit, but, you know, we use sound blankets.
Any vibration that it gives to the?
No, just to quiet the sound of the tune.
Thank you so much. But to summarize, the whole stretch, the walkway that people use, because Transport and our people are using that stretch to walk to Neptune, it will be completely closed. So, and to the parking lot, to DMV also will be closed.
Right. Yeah, so work in progress. Find if we can. DMV parking lot. Yeah, if we got it, yeah, we could, you know, use that as a pathway.
Understood.
Because it will be better for us to just close the street and
So do it faster. Do it faster. Understood.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, that's it.
And that brings us straight to the question to MTA about that West Sixth Street. Because it's really, really a lot of garbage going on over there. And one of the residents actually sent us the pictures today, Eddie, if you could.
Oh, yeah.
Because the people will be, the workers will be closing that part. It's so much garbage over there. I don't even know where you're gonna put your stuff and equipment along that pathway. There's the relicted cars and all kind of construction garbage and everything on that walkway. It's a lot, and nobody owns that street because it belongs to NYC/MTA, and nobody wants to take ownership of that to clean it because it doesn't belong to the city. It's not a street, so the city does not clean it. MTA occasionally under pressure makes a few cleans up, but you know, it's a lot of things going on the stretch. So I don't know, this needs to be cleaned before you even put your equipment. Just consider that. So
if you could just clarify, are you referring to the stretch between Sheepshead Bay and the terminal, the last stop?
Yeah.
I see.
It's Sheepshead Bay Road.
Sheepshead Bay Road.
Yes, like where it used to be old Net Coast Market, between that building and to the entrance to the West 6th Station from the back. On West 8th Station from the West 6th Street. So that is a strip that we're going to close. That's what if I understand correctly. So that's a lot of garbage right there. Is the relicted cars, it's like old TVs, people dumping and other things over there.
I also think on this picture, we see the stretch that goes along to the West 5th Street, the West 6th to the walk.
Yeah, but
start from West 6th to West 5th.
No, leave next time, don't show me too much. I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like, you know, they send it, it's like a small garbage that they send.
Okay,
But
I'm gonna
there's
show
like
you.
people dumping TVs, dumping furniture, dumping everything over there along.
If I could, let me just suggest that this problem really, it cannot be New York City Transit, and it really cannot either be New York City Department of Transportation. It should be the Department of Sanitation. New York, Dasney.
But the
It-
issue is that it doesn't belong to the city, because that street was demapped from the city, and now.
That is
city
a
does not
DMAP street.
serve it.
I
Yeah,
see.
and city doesn't serve it, so it belongs to, because on the pillars, it says NYC DOT, property of NYC DOT, the pillars to the station. That's what it says, and whoever was doing the cleanup last time was MTA. And they did a favor, like basically to senator to clean it up. But somebody has to clean it regularly, but during the construction, that might impede them to put in their stuff, because
You have the garbage picture.
there's a lot of stuff over there. This is a light stuff. The big stuff they dump. You can't walk
Okay,
there.
let me make a suggestion. Let me dig a little bit and find out about the history of the demapping of the street, because this is completely unacceptable. Everybody's looking at these photographs and can't believe it. It's not acceptable. But anyways, Chair, I'll report back. Yeah.
We leave it for a few decades like that, and we doing like a lot of outreaching to MTA, and I've seen a couple of times MTA made the what sort of deal with the sanitation, and they would come and pick it up, but this is like once in a while thing, once in a 5 years thing, but then people are dumping because they know that nobody regulates that street. I would be very how to say, grateful to you guys to put it back on a map, so that it will be serviced and it will be shake off from MTA hands.
And they're also old cars, people are dumping their old cars.
All cars without licenses are standing there, so that would be a problem for you, even tow it or, yeah, that's, take care of it.
Let me look into it. I promise to get back to you, and
We
we'll
appreciate that.
No need to. The photographs are terrible.
Yep.
Horrendous. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you guys for.
Thank you.
All right, so the last one.
And the last one was to bring Mr. Drummond up to speed. We already sent you all the questions that we had prior, and I'm sure that Melissa passed down a few issues that we raised in the past.
Let me start off, because I know folks who are joining virtually there, so I'll introduce myself. Hopefully you guys can hear me.
Oh, no, come up closer, come closer. Yes, you gotta come closer. Sorry, we're gonna get you closer. We're getting you closer. Musical chairs.
So can everybody hear me now?
Yes.
Virtually too?
Okay.
Virtual land? Just thumbs up?
Thumbs up, guys.
Yes, we hear you.
Oh,
Thank you, thank you.
Yes,
thank you.
Anthony, I can hear you loud and clear without the headphones.
No.
Good evening, everyone. So my name is, again, Anthony Drummond. I'm Assistant Director of Government and Community Relations at New York City Transit. So thank you all for having me out tonight to answer some of the questions that were sent over that I did receive on Thursday. So I'm gonna go through each of the questions. I will, I mean, not all of them I'm going to be able to answer tonight, given that I did, once I received them, forward over to the prerequisite groups that, you know, will be able to give me the information back, and I got a few out of office responses, and we'll follow up later in the week. So, but I was able to get some for you guys, and I'll go through each one of them that was sent to me. And then after that, of course, I'll be happy to answer any questions that you all have going forward. So let me start off with the first one, the update on the Brooklyn bus redesign. That one is very simple. The bus redesign is going to start later this fall. Don't have a specific date yet, but we wanted to wait until we were finished with the Queens one, which just recently wrapped up, before moving towards for the Brooklyn one. And I'll just say the Brooklyn one is, I guess they say the best for last, but it's also the most complicated. So look forward to information coming out, possible community meetings and so forth later this fall. So check off on that one.
So when you're saying it started, what see the draft first, we will see the final draft, and we will have the opportunity to discuss the final draft, or
That's
it
correct.
just started.
No, what it means starting this fall is that we'll, you'll be able to see the final draft. And comment on that. And it will be a robust of public meetings and community engagement meetings before it's finalized. So, there will be a lot of opportunities to comment on the draft, the final draft of the Brooklyn bus redesign. So, okay. All right. Second question I received, update on safety measures on upper platform, West 8th Street, northbound Q train. So to answer that one, we have an estimate. We understand that they're wanting to put up a higher fence on the platform that will cost about $2.5 million. This project, though, with the funding that is for that fence, is not included in this proposed 2025-29 capital plan. So there really hasn't been any funding allocated yet until we see where we are with that capital plan, which is going through the legislative process and budget process as we speak now before the April 1st deadline. So I will just suggest to stay tuned before we find out what that number will be.
Is there any way to do something temporarily or to place, perhaps, like they used to be in the past, to ask TT 34 to place transit people, at least at the time when kids are dismissed from school, because most incident happens when the kids dismissed from school, they go on the upper platform, they load themselves with the bottles, cups, garbage, and they standing there and they are actually targeting moving people, moving cars, and throw objects, projectiles, including cones, stones, pieces of concrete. The food is probably the dirtiest, but less complicated. But I sent actually your predecessor the video of the person standing on the platform and just standing and watching and throwing the objects. So I was just wondering if it's either the police presence at that time
We can definitely ask
or
for
put the
police
temporary
presence.
fence, or temporary.
Yeah,
Like a net, just
like
a
a little
construction net or something that would not flow or not been blown. We have high winds, definitely, but something maybe affixed. It needs to be just a length of one subway car, the first version, that's it.
It's not about aesthetics,
Just
it's about
Right.
safety.
Safety, just
No, I
safety.
understand.
If it could be done between two of the measures, we would appreciate that.
That's fine, I can answer that. Okay. All right. Noted on that one. Next one, status of prohibited barrier along platform edge at West 8th Street. So
It was in the papers
Uh-huh.
that you guys will be install something like in Manhattan, and our station was one of the stations chosen for those protective barriers, because in
Right.
some places it's very narrow path between
Sure.
between the platform and the column. You could actually like fall, especially on the F line,
Uh-huh.
it's really narrow. So I was just wondering, they put in the papers that the protective barriers will be put as a part of the pilot project. But then they reconsider, say something complications. I was wondering if there's any status update on that.
Well, the only thing that I received, and this is where I discussed with my colleague Melissa about, because she had did some work around this. And to your point, there were some examples of some stations that they did do that. She mentioned 191st
Right.
Street on the one, the Clark Street 2-3, Morgan Avenue L, and the 5th Avenue 7.
Right.
So she was telling me that they, given different sizes of the cars and the locations, putting those barriers for what she described here was a R68 car might block passenger flow for an R179, as she was using for an example. So they deemed it unacceptable
Understood.
at the time due to operation concern.
Mhm.
But that is something that once they kind of go through that, could revisit.
Okay.
So
now
that was what, what's the feedback was shared with me on that.
But now it's pending.
Right.
Pretty much. Okay.
All right.
Understood.
Okay. All right. I'll
Moving
continue
along.
on, moving
Moving
along.
along.
All right. Status on schedule for cleaning and garbage removal on West Sixth Street. So
We
we
discussed
discussed
that.
that,
Just
so,
discussed that, yes.
move on to that. So the update on ongoing planned track replacement and its effect on noise pollution. So that's the one that I would have to get back. I did check with our maintenance away folks, so that's the one I need to hear back on. Haven't had an update on that.
And checking with them, find out what is the thing, what's their numbers, what they're aiming for, what they have right now, and what is expected results.
Okay.
So the reason we asked that question, because they've been doing the third phase of the track replacement on the entire queue line, right? The queue line. So did it actually make any effect on like those tracks replacement? What Melissa explained to us that as soon as all the tracks will be completely replaced, there's going to be some lubrication system that will be installed that will be operated remotely. So they did some measurements in the past. The question will be, when it's all installed and it's operation, will there be any measurements done after to compare if it make any effect on the noise level?
I can check on that. All right. Update on measures to prevent pouring during heavy rains at the B-74 bus stop.
Oh, yeah.
at the Stillwell terminal. So that one is still being checked on. I reached out to our group station managers, so that's an update. I'm just waiting to hear back from, and I'll share that once I get that information from the group station manager. All right. Update on scheduling garbage cleanup where the cars are parked perpendicular to the sidewalk at the Stillwell terminal and ticketing cars parked illegally there. So actually for this one here, I just found out this is going to be a DSNY, Department of Sanitation Enforcement issue, not actually us, because the employees' private vehicles are parked on vehicle on no parking days and so forth, they can be ticketed. We from New York City Transit have sent out notifications to the employees, basically encourage them not to do that. If so, they risk being parked with tickets or potentially towed on cleaning days. So that's the enforcement issue we did on our end, but DSNY has to do their part on enforcement. Okay. Next one here, and this is one I would like to get some quick, because we didn't have any like information. Update on MTA app, cars blocking the turn of the B68 bus.
I think that Christopher Grief was offering, like actually made that suggestion. Christopher, could you explain what you meant by that?
Okay.
Christopher?
I'm here. And by the way, it's Grief. I'm going to cause grief now. Okay. No, what the Anthony, it's actually the B68 when it makes the left turn from Brighton Beach Avenue going towards northbound. That's been actually what the problem is, and I have spoken to Edmund and Keith. They are actually fixed. They are trying to make sure, because this is also came from Pat Singer as well, not just Pat, but we do have seniors who do transfer from the 1 to the 68. The problem is going to be is when the 68 is trying to come in, it can't come in because you got a lot of cars almost ready to hit the bus and the bus cannot go through. And I do see this turning issue in times when it's leaving Stillwell Terminal, when it makes the right turn going back to Windsor Terrace bound. And that's also the 82. That was already been brought up already, because I know that was been adjusted, because I did see a traffic enforcer checking it out. And there was a Transit 34 checking it out as well. But so far it's been okay, but it's definitely a Brighton Beach issue still.
Okay.
But I already brought this up to you a couple of weeks ago.
All right, we'll go further into that internally there to see and try to address that. But thank you, Chris, for providing that. All right, noted.
I think the last question we could leave at the end, so we don't bore people with details.
Okay.
It's really for the Brighton Water Tower.
Yeah,
I don't want to occupy with that question the whole meeting.
Like I said, we kind of add something that
Right.
we talk about safety, and I want to add the Stillwell Avenue become very unsafe station. It always was kind of sketchy, but it's a four lines that ending up there.
Right.
So it's really dangerous, kind of people coming here to spend the night.
Mhm.
But then when it's danger in the morning, when they're boarding the train and the school kids boarding the train at the same time, they're going to school, the young kids like 10, 11, and they're riding all together, a very dangerous situation. So Stillwell, you know the story that happened from Stillwell. We have stones flying that people got killed and stopped and whatever. So we would like to, and we know there is a police station there, but maybe more presence on trucks, on the platforms. So because where they are located, not happens. All the action happens on the platform. That's when we need more safe.
On the terminal.
So, right, and then house people, of course, we have big influx of our house people now. Summer comes in, it will be more and more, and we would like to ask you to we know it's a tough situation with Syria. There is no funding finance. And it's hard to locate those people, but it's not safe for them, not safe for us, not safe for our kids, not safe for anybody. That's the situation. It's really dangerous.
Okay, now I appreciate you bringing that up and understand that the safety issue around Stillwell Avenue Station is definitely a big priority concern. We know, especially from New York City Transit, of the issues that have occurred, even the most recent with the tragic death of the lady at the station. So having police present is definitely a priority. Even when I got off the train coming here, I did notice some police officers just walking the platform. But I understand that more of a greater presence. I definitely been hearing that. Maybe having officers on one end and maybe officers on the other, because it is a very big station.
Yeah.
And maybe, perusing up and down the platform, which I know they're supposed to be doing, but I know at times they're grouped in one area and, it's just a matter of just going up and down and checking the cars and stuff. And I am noting that the safety is still a big major concern here for the station.
Basically talk about early morning and maybe late night.
Okay.
Because during rush hours, a lot of people, there's no action, but in the morning, first, as the train starts moving and kids are going on the train, people start to clear the station.
And people literally they sleep in the cars.
Yeah. The last word?
No.
Oh, but shall we?
I have a question. Bayview and West 33rd, the bus, the B-74 and the B-36 has a very hard time getting past that block right there. There's a lot of sand there that's constantly coming back. We've been complaining about it for years.
Yeah.
The bus has hit several cars that are parked there, and the cars are parked legally, but it's because of all of the sand that's there. If a car is coming this way and the bus is going that way, you gotta stop to let the bus go, and the bus has to stop to let the car go. It's something needs to be done, because I live over there, and my aides and stuff have to constantly sweep my floor from all of the sand and everything that's coming up. And we've been complaining about that. We even lost bus stops. We lost parking spaces because they made us give up the parking spaces right there by the corner, because they said the bus drivers needed more room so that they could turn. But even though we gave up those parking spaces, they're still hitting other cars. And I was told that, once I was told that it was sanitation responsibility, then I was told no combination of sanitation and the park department. And I'm like, somebody's gotta do something, because we don't have 2 accidents over there already. Your car actually flipped over. What are they gonna do? What are they gonna take care of that issue and that problem? They're gonna wait till somebody gets hit before they do something?
All right,
Is that, B-36 and
B36 and B74 both come down that way.
All right, Christopher Greif is on, raised his hand.
Yeah, the only, can I just back her up? What she's saying is, Anthony, because this has been brought up with Melissa and with Nick. The problem is, this is where the 36 and some 74s do get damaged from sand stuck in their wheels. And it is an issue. I know it's a Parks Department issue, Eddie. I know I can hear you, Eddie. Can let me, thank you. But at the same time, also, it needs to be flagged out and needs to be brought up. And I know DOT can listen to hear me saying this, but we need to combine our effort on that because it is a street issue and a curb cut issue, safety, because sand is coming onto the sidewalk and a motorized wheelchair can actually get hurt. And we have reported in the years that the 36 and the 74 had to go back to the yard and they're missing buses because of those incidents on that.
Also, they do the driving test over there too. There's been incidents.
Road test, the road test.
You know,
Or
not
drag racing.
get their driver's license because of the sand and the closeness that they come to the cars and stuff that are over in that area. It's dangerous.
Okay. Keep on bringing that up. This is actually new to me. So I'm glad I'm hearing this and figuring what's to do. So it's a combination of
the Parks
Department.
Yeah.
All right.
There's also a sanitation truck over there today. There was some guy driving around there looking. I don't know if he was a supervisor or whatever he was, but he was trying to come one way and the bus was coming the other way. He had to literally, before he got into an accident with the bus. So I'm hoping that they pay some attention or do something. Maybe they could make that well, I wouldn't even say a one-way street because you still have to have somewhere to park. The residential homes and stuff over there need areas where they can park at. So it makes it quite difficult. We were very upset when we lost the parking spaces right there at the corner. What can we do?
And this has been going on for
This is
forever. It's more that sand cannot be pushed back by the Parks Department because it's snowing, it's snow and sanitation can't do anything that's more than 2 inches height. So they have to wait until the parks can push the sand back into the over to the fence, and then sanitation can come and sweep it off. So it's a 2-agency process. Yeah. Yeah, and when it snows and the ice is over, you can't tell at all. Yeah.
Yeah, that's if we get, and now we are in the final week of winter going into spring on Thursday.
Yes, so hopefully now we can get the machineries up and going because they had to wait until at least winter to be over because you can't pull the other heavy machinery out from the other locations just to do one thing. So now that the winter's over, they can concentrate more on this sand issue.
Anybody else have any questions from the
Anybody?
These 74 bucks. Always I have to wait for that bus. All the time I'm gonna take the bus like a half an hour. If I take it in 33rd, if I take it in front of the church in 21st Street, you see around 3 buses going that way to Stillwell. They are parked right there in Mermaid Avenue and 15th Street between Stillwell and no buses. You have to wait half an hour for a bus. And I take the car service because sometimes I get to church late. But all the time you have to wait by half an hour for the 74.
bus bunching.
Right. And this is a daily issue or just on every day?
B36.
B36 and B68, same thing.
Now, I'm gonna make a comment about the B36, because actually when I was talking to Chris about it, there's been quite a bit of issues happening with the B36. So I'm just gonna note to everybody, I'm gonna reach out to our bus division, because I've been hearing in terms of delays bunching? The bus bunching is actually on another one, but it's been like the chronic delays of like infrequent service. Because I have heard from a couple of council offices, Brandon was the most recent today. Wanted to find out about what's going on with the B36. So I've noted that. I'm just gonna find out if there's some issues going on either with the bus itself. Could be maybe staffing in terms of route timings and so forth and coverage. Those are things I'm thinking of, but I know this has been a problem. At least the last couple of months I've been here with the B36 itself. So I have noticed that.
It's a chronic, it's a chronic problem. B36, very chronic problem. On the weekends, you could wait for 45 minutes between the buses, and then 3 buses come at the same time. Same as 68 started to happen. Like within past year, 68 is getting real bad. Three at a time, and then you just wait 40 minutes between them.
And then, okay,
Yeah. I'm so proud. You can't even get home. In the morning, you got people like me, I may be going to the doctor. You have somebody else that comes on that's going to the doctor too, and they may be with one of them big walkers. You can't get past, and then you got mothers coming along with babies and strollers and stuff. It's too crowded.
And also B36, because it goes to the Surf Avenue to the end, and then it goes to the loop to Bay, to the Bay side, right? So sometimes it drops people off the surf and just drives free, so people have to walk. And that's okay during the daytime, but I was doing it at nighttime, and I saw people with the small children were doing the same way. And the windy weather like ours, it's not a good situation.
Raining and snowing, no one wants to be left. Bus because they act like they don't see you when they turn it on.
Yes, exactly.
And one more complaint about Bitterest, like we can't get up on Bitterest. So kids taking the bus to go to local Y. I know because my son does. So the drivers of the bus, when they see kids standing there, they just so pass. They ignore kids.
I have a personal issue. Send me these cards. The card is supposed to open the gate, like when I come up the ramp. It's not opening the gate.
It's activated?
Yeah. They're activated, but the gate is not open.
It said, I actually received a couple of, with the cars themselves, similar situation where they tap it and it nothing works, so it could be some glitch in the car, so,
Okay, and
well,
they have the people at the station with a different piece. Cause I have said something to one of them about it, like, what do you want me to do about it? I'm not MTA.
at the station, one of the station agents? They are.
She asked me what I want her to do about it. She ain't MTA. She don't make the cards. They do.
He's not supposed to say that. That's correct. I heard that.
But I was also gonna ask, there's CSC, the Customer Service Center right here at Stillwell. Have you been there?
Right there in Stillwell, when you go in the middle there.
Right, there's a.
Yeah, right there. That's right.
And no one in the CSC will help you there to like, they could even fix the car themselves over there.
They didn't fix the car. One guy was nice and he said to me, come with me. I'm gonna put the card in. He had a card. He said, I'm gonna put the card in so you can get on the train.
You offline about that. They're supposed to be taking care of that. So I'll talk to you about that.
Okay, we have Daishal.
Hello, can you hear me? Good evening.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, good evening, Mr. Drummond. I had a question, 2 questions actually. One that is focused mostly on the B36. So I noticed that back around right before Thanksgiving time, they took away the stop for Surf Avenue and West 21st. and they stated that it was going to come back around, let's say, after right before Christmas. It was supposed to come back December 20th. So around that time, it didn't come back, and it still is not back to this day. The sign, I can put a picture in the chat, but the sign, the pole is still there, but it has been replaced with a no standing anytime sign. And you can wait for the bus, and if you have a nice bus driver, they may or may not pick you up. However, I have been told by the bus drivers that I shouldn't wait there because right now it is not, an official signed stop. So even though it is on the website and it's still in the app as though it is an official stop, right now they have not been using it as a stop. Your mileage may vary, and you can't really depend on being able to get off there or get on there.
Okay, and this is again the West. You said West 23rd.
No, West 21st. West 21st, and surf. It's right by the surf vets apartment, right over there.
Yeah, Anthony, that's the West 21st Street stop, the one you and I discussed. And it's kind of strange
Yes.
because half of the buses are stopping, but some of them are not. But the problem is I think this is a DOT issue too, because remember the stops are controlled and there's been communication issues. This is what I found out from MTA Bus Division. That stop was supposed to be open because it's back on the app. And I did get off that bus at West 21st the other week. So I don't understand what's going on. It's an Ola Park issue / a DOT.
You could get up, but you cannot be on it.
All right, I'll be checking that. I'll find out what's going on there.
Yeah, I can personally attest to the fact that once I was on the bus, I got on at Stillwell, and I was going to get off at 21st. And the bus driver, even though I clicked the button to get off, the bus driver drove right by and told me that that's not a stop. I got to get off at West 23rd. And before I give up the floor, my second question, I had some pictures for Stillwell Avenue in the mezzanine. I noticed that the screens that are supposed to showcase the countdown time for the trains, the only one that works is the Q right now. The F, it showed it just tells you that the train is in that direction, which everybody knows because you can see that on the normal signage. But the D and the N screens in the mezzanine are flat out off. They're turned off. And it's you can always use your app on your phone, but it would just be nice to have the wayfinding in the station be utilized since it's there and installed.
All right. No, thank you for bringing that up because I know we've been having some technical glitches with not only Stillwell, but quite a few of our countdown clocks at a lot of stations, and they've been doing a lot of system upgrades. And from what I've been hearing, because we've been getting a lot of complaints, especially along the R line, is that whatever data software they're using to do the upgrade it's been doing some crashes. So they have to go through each station to actually internally fix and assess. So this could be the same issue here with that Stillwell Avenue. So I'll note that too. And have our folks in operations check that out.
Okay, we have Michael Russo.
The thing with the 21st Street, West 21st Street, is more with the construction in the street. And Triumph was doing that, and I know because I'm renting an office to them. And I believe that work has been finished. So I would check with the construction workers they were doing sewer work right in front of the vet building there, connecting the sewers. So I would go that route to see if they're done yet. That'll be your fastest answer.
Got it. All right. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
All right, Chris.
Yeah, I just want
Christopher?
to. I want to answer about the 68 because we do. Anthony and I already explained this to Anthony. Regarding the 68, there's been a superintendent dispatcher been tracking the 68s for the last week because we have been reported that even as we speak right now, there's been a lack of buses coming in every 45 minutes to an hour. So it has been brought up because I was the one got stuck and so is Debbie. She got stuck at Avenue J. I got stuck at Kings Highway. But the bottom line is it has been checked, and I could tell you that they've been lately, they do see bunching, and they do tell one bus you have to go ahead to start, like, see at Avenue Z. The other one will go to Brighton, regular to pick up regular customers. Another one will leave 5 minutes. What we're finding out also is there is a new issue coming in, and it's actually coming out of Windsor Terrace. They're getting stuck up there, and once they get stuck, then you got a whole army of buses. And at the same time, there is also an issue in Brighton Beach. They get stuck there as well. But at the same time, we are having problems with the buses on the 68 because I have kept track with them even during the rush hour. And I'm looking and saying, okay, why is there three of them coming down like doing the tango dancing? And the reason I'm saying that, they're getting stuck at right when they get to the final circle where Ocean Parkway Fall Hamilton. They lose 20 minutes. And then you got a whole army of full buses. They're getting stuck. So it's an issue that it needs to be brought up, and possibility that, yes, ridership is increasing, but as I mentioned to Anthony, we also have been seeing fare invading on the 68 because people are sneaking in the back of the bus and not paying. So it's a two-way street issue coming in. So something needs to be, we definitely need to keep an eye on that because, and at the same time, we also have been seeing that drivers are getting attacked on the 68. And so unfortunately, it's coming out of Brighton Beach. I have seen this on the 68 and the 1 as well. So, ow, whoever's making that noise, that just went to my ear. Ow. But the bottom line is that there is an issue going on with that as well. Later, I have something, Eddie, I have something on the chat for you guys regarding a survey for accessibility.
Oh, okay. Thanks. All right.
So we're pretty much.
Oh wait, there's one more thing that I saw that Miss Struge McLean is on the line. That I know she wants to thank the MTA for cementing the one of the bus stops on Bayview and West 37th Street. It was used to be grass, but there are two other locations that are on West 37th Street and Canal that needs to be cemented over. It's a hazardous because if it's muddy, people are on that patch of dirt, they can slip when getting on. And the other location is on 33rd Street and Mermaid. And that is totally unacceptable. If you go there today, it's all dirt, and it shouldn't be that way. It should be paved over with cement to make it safer.
Eddie, her hand is up.
Whose hands up?
Oh my God, I finally figured it out how to do this on my phone. It wasn't letting me. I was frustrated. Anyway, yes, in addition to that, thank you, Eddie, for bringing that up. Thank you for you guys for paving it up. It took 30 years, but we were able to do it. I do have some issues, a couple of them. I'm gonna just rattle them out as fast as I can. I actually found the original documents where I don't know if it's for the transit or but I think it's the speeding on 37th Street. You got to tell your bus drivers to like kind of slow down. Sometimes, they sometimes forget that they see no lights and they just kind of like zoom down. It is a residential area. Please be aware that we have animals, pets, and stuff sometimes darting in the streets. I apologize for that, but it happens and they kind of come like very fast to the point where they can't even slow down to come into the stop. They literally stop like in the middle to let us off sometimes. So please, the other questions I have is why can't the 36 bus? I know you guys put it on Surf Avenue and 37th Street as the last stop in the past. If there were people left on the bus continued to let people off. Everybody thinks it's the safest place to let people off, and it's like, it's not. We're actually, even though they have a shelter there, we're facing the elements. It is hitting us in the face. I just don't understand why they made that change. Is it possible to like go back to that where if people are living further down the streets to 37, even around 33rd, they need to like, can you drop them off instead of waiting another 20 minutes, especially in the winter? It's really, really cold up there. So it's something that they can do. Also, the express bus. Why is it at the latest time before midnight, you guys think it's safe to drop people off at Chipotle and leave them off there so that they can make it down? Why is it they think it's the safest place? It is not. It is not Coney Island. You stop the bus around what 9? I think you pick up the last at 9 something. The 28 drop right by the diner, and then we have to wait for 82, and then we have to wait for another bus. Well, most of the at that time the bus stopped running, the 74 bus. I have to wait for the 36 if, and then maybe stop again on 37th Street. It's just somebody can look at all of that traffic and say this does not make any sense. And they're costing the rider more money when they take the express bus.
When you said express bus, where is the express bus stopping? You said
28th Street, right by Chipotle, across from the
Parkview
diner.
Diner. Parkview Diner.
Yeah. We
Cropsey.
pay
Cropsey and
Cropsey.
Show Parkway, Cropsey. That's the other half when it terminates. Some
We
of the,
pay.
yeah, and just to back her up, I'm sorry. That bus half of it does terminate there, Anthony. The rest are supposed to terminate West 37th. It sounds like the issue is that they're stopping in a non-safe zone area.
Right, and in fact, it's not even that. They changed the whole thing, because I take it a lot. Majority is stopping at that stop and not coming into Coney Island anymore.
Yeah.
We're paying more money to travel the express bus than a lot of other areas.
What is the express bus number? Is it
X28
And X38.
and 38.
Okay.
We pay more to travel on those buses than anybody else, because the transfer is only good for one transfer, not two.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Is there any other questions on Zoom?
I have a lot more, but those are my most important ones when it comes to the buses. Please figure out about the 36 and 37 and surf. It's not safe over there to let people off and let them wait for the other buses that take a long time to get back there.
Okay. I've noted that too.
Thank you, guys. And thank you again for my bus stop. Yeah.
All
I
right,
have a
Chris.
question.
Oh, yes. Yes, Linda.
Okay, hi, good evening. Hello, Mr. Drummond.
Good
Just real
evening.
quick, well, lately I've been doing the traveling between 8 and 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning over at West 25th and Surf. And I notice each time the buses, they're not quite full. You can see strap hangers, but there's still space in there enough for more people. But the bus drivers just go right past the group on the corner of West 25th. There's usually about 7 or 10 of us waiting to get on, and they just shoot right past us, right past. And it's about another, excuse me?
Sorry, what's the bus number that's passing you guys?
36.
Oh, yes, it's a 30.
It's 36.
The 36. They're good for leaving people at the bus stop when there's no bus behind them.
Miss Harris, this is Chris.
Yes.
I did remind Harrison. Yeah, I'm just reminding you that last time you and I spoke with, and I did mention this. We always need, Anthony needs the bus vehicle number if you can get it. So if you can get it, it will be easy for him. So we can track him saying, why did you overshot a stop and leaving an accessible customer or that? And that has been brought up to you guys. So we have to track all those buses. So say like if a bus dropped you off in a legal spot and you don't feel safe, put it in. We got to put it in somehow because he needs to know.
They're going too fast for me. I'm telling you, they're just ripping right through that light. They go right too fast. And because you expecting them to stop before you know it, they're gone.
Then get the time. Make sure you have the time and what time he passed if you can't catch the number.
Noted.
Okay. Okay, I guess this is it, but before we do anything else, there's old business, new business. We have the old business is with Harvey from the DOT survey. Harvey, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
How are you doing tonight? My name is Harvey LaRue. I am a project manager of the Coney Island Transportation Study. here tonight to just give you a very brief status update on the study. A study like this, an area-wide study, basically has 3 phases, each with a public outreach. The first phase we conducted was our scope of work when we came to the community for the kickoff. This happened in May of 2024. The second phase of these studies is an existing conditions analysis. And that's where we are right now. We were hoping to wrap up our existing conditions analysis at the end of the year and to present something to you around now, March. However, right after we did our kickoff meeting, we came to realize that the emergence of the Coney Casino projected prospective development required a certain amount of coordination with us so that we would, they have a traffic study which is associated with the EIS. This coordination has moved our schedule back a little bit. We are hoping to wrap up our existing conditions in June, potentially coming back to the community at that time with our existing conditions, possibly after the summer. The third phase of the study is to project the existing conditions to the future conditions and to develop recommendations. And with our new schedule, we're looking to bring that to the community, hopefully in the first quarter of 2026, and to wrap the study up in midway through 2026. So that's basically where we're at. Another development which we are aware of that we're working with is EDC's Coney Island West development with their RFP for Site A. We know that that development will have some significant impacts on our future conditions analysis, and also the development of Ocean Way and the extension of West 20th Street has some issues with both the operations of Maimonides Park, the Maimonides Stadium parking lot, and for access in general. And that we've been doing some site visits and field visits very recently to examine some of those issues. So that's basically where we are with the study right now. An update with when we will be reaching back out to the community. I will say, I think the last time that I came to the Transportation Board, I mentioned we have our online portal, which allows for public comments. At that time, we had approximately 25 comments. At this time, I know the Community Board has been promoting that portal for us through their newsletter and through several of their members. At this time, we have 48 comments, which is awesome. And so I want to thank you very much for doing that, and to continue to push that to your members so that we can continue to get more comments, which will help us to understand the issues within the community and to develop our recommendations.
Yep.
Short comment.
Go for it.
Then I have a short comment about existing conditions, that our existing conditions in May very different from existing condition in June. So it's a drastic change in summer season. In summer, we have 5 million people coming in, driving in, especially on weekends. So if you survey the existing condition in May, June will be very different. July will be even bigger difference.
One of the main things in this study, the data collection that we've done has a regular season data and a summer season data collection. So we're looking at not just the traffic, but also some of the parking, the pedestrians. And I've been out there, for instance, we did several field visits at some of the big events over the last summer. We did some video recording just to try and understand what the operations are during some of those really big events. I was there for July 4th weekend, walking around, taking a look at how things go. So yes, thank you very much. We are definitely thinking about the summer season and how it relates to the regular season.
We also have Jeff.
Yes, okay. You mentioned something about Harvey. Nice to meet you. You mentioned something about doing the study in collaboration with the casino people. Does this study have anything to do with their estimated people coming in, 30,000 people a day?
When I said we're collaborating or coordinating with them, a lot of that is with the data that they are collecting. So existing conditions, we know that they have a lot of the same sites that we were going to get. And so we needed to make sure that we knew what they were collecting. And then we came back and we filled in all the gaps that were missing for what we wanted. Future conditions, we will be evaluating, especially if it goes forward. Our future conditions will happen after the existing conditions, and hopefully we will know a little more about whether or not that will move forward. But yes, we would be evaluating whatever the they were.
So
they
that would be, excuse me, so that would be included in your study, the data of the proposed casino and their selection of 30,000 people a day and maybe even more on weekends. So
Yeah,
that's
that
going to
would-
be included in.
We
in
would
your
be looking
study.
at that in the future conditions if that were to be moving forward. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
Eddie,
Nope, that's it.
that's it, so pretty much we can
Eddie, I had
conclude.
new business. There is
Oh,
something.
go for it.
Sorry.
Yeah, because you guys forgot, and I'm just going to back up with Anthony because you guys have been asking for a survey. MTA Accessibility is doing a survey, and it's on the chat box, Mark and everyone. We're asking everyone to please do the survey. For example, I know everyone's bugging me about Brighton Beach, which you guys could please make sure you put that in. But you have 3 choices to put in. Once you finish that survey, if you want to get the newsletter for the MTA Accessibility, you can join the newsletter. And you can do it so many times until the thing blows up. But I just want to remind everyone that Neptune Avenue is still on the list. It's not going anywhere. So I want to be very clear. So I know Michael Subin's not here, but if he's here, you can hear me saying this on the record. Neptune is still there, and I will encourage everyone to please put support letters out there because, as Q has mentioned, the Chief Accessibility has said this today at the active meeting. Unfortunately, we just finished that meeting an hour ago. Oh my God. We're encouraging everyone to please put a support letter, CC to the MTA, CC to your state officials, because that's how, they got to hear the community. Yes, Anthony does get a copy of it because it does go into MTA, but we also need that CC going to the elected officials as well. And I can say this, since Andy Ingersby was there, he told you guys to please continue doing that. And Melissa and Nick. And I know Anthony will agree with me, the same thing. Support letters is the strongest tool weaponry. So there is a survey out. I know it's in the newsletter from Eddie. But Eddie, please make sure the Transportation Committee has it and it's duly noted on the record at the board meetings.
Yes.
Thank you, Christopher.
Okay.
So motion to.
Yep.
Second.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Good night,
All right.
everyone.
Good night.
Good night.